Well, another seesawing day in this remarkable Ashes series. I don't know what that day was, and I'm scared because I can see an outline of Australia doing something good in the next day, day and a half. Pezza, tell me why that won't happen.
Because you think it will. Because the trends of cricket suggest that Australia might do something good, which means this series will give you something different. That is why. That's this. I know you wanted some kind of sort of flourishing rhetoric there, but it's actually quite a straightforward answer.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. This episode is brought to you by Budgy Smuggler. Use the code goodareas for free shipping at budgysmuggler.com. Pez, the first of the three things I want to talk about today. Another day of no one's happy, obviously. 283, I think, for England, all out. Australia had to create 15 chances to get those 280 runs all out or so. So five drop catches, but okay. 5 drop catches, but it was okay. Could have been better. Obviously, Harry Brook is put down. I think he was on 5. He was less than 10 by Alex Carey. Relatively simple chance, you would say. And he finished with 85. So you detract his runs, and then everyone gets out in exactly the same manner because that just would have stayed the same.
Yeah.
But the bit that I want changed would have been lesser I bit happier.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's England all out 200 because you just subtract the runs that Brook scores, and then everything else happens the same after that. Yeah. Australia drops 5 catches, and it's Australia's day, so another normal day in the series. Things I want to call out. So stressed. I was stressed as Crawley and Duckett started to do their fucking thing again. With respect to them, with respect to what they do. Just rattling along at 5 to 7 and over there. We've sent them in. Like, yeah, okay, good. And I just sort of stumbled upon something I want to raise. It was irritating me at the start, but then I realised I was liking it. Okay, I like Mark Taylor locked in on comms. I like a locked-in Tubby talking cricket. Yeah.
A lock-in?
I like a lock-in, and that's a separate issue. And a lock-in with Tubby would be incredible.
Oh, hell yeah.
But Tubby started to fire up a little bit about Australia's lengths. And at the start I was, defensive because he's talking to me while I'm doing the dishes. I got a hell of a session for me, by the way.
All right, Tub.
Yeah. But then I realised he was right, one, and two, you don't get to hear Tubby locked in talking tactics and that often. And it's another Australian commentator fully released like a hound, on overseas comms. We don't... And is there a commentator who is more kind of, asked to play the fool that then kind of gets them away from what they can really offer than Tubby in Australia? A sort of a serious, slightly crow's-feeted Tubby discussing what Australia could be doing better. Mate, that's manna from heaven for me. I'm letting that wash over me. That's hyaluronic acid to me. And anyway, he was firing up with Australia on Australia's poor lengths to start the game before Cummins came on, who bowled the best 1 for 66 I've ever seen in my life. It was menacing. The skipper turned up deluxe. And kind of sparked a 3 for 11 collapse where England started doing some of that shit they were doing in the first and second test. Like, we're doing well, so why don't we just sort of get a little bit careless here and let's see what we can do from there. Harry Brook comes... Yeah, we're going to come on to Brook, but that first little session, it was like, everything's happening. This is going to be one of those ass-clenching, twist-and-turning games again. I'm going to think 3 or 4 times that Australia's let the Ashes go, and then 3 or 4 times I'll think we're one of the greatest teams to have ever played the game. God, we're resilient, and I love our captain. That was my experience.
I like what you say about Mark Taylor because, like, in the lineage of Australian captains in and around our lifetime, I can see them all get angry. Like Ponting, I mean, please, I can totally see that. Michael Clarke, well, we've seen him be on holiday with Carl Stefanovic, so we've seen that. We've seen Steve Waugh. I mean, of course, we can see Steve Waugh getting angry. Chappell, please. Border's actually become like a really nice... He's like a really nice grandpa, like a really nice man. But I've seen footage of him going fucking losing it. Mark Taylor sort of sits somewhere in between where he's like, he just seems like a really nice guy, but then like Australia got it wrong with their lengths and the catching, and I could just see a little window, and I could see why Shane Warne loved him as a captain so much. Just talking about catches generally, Alex Carey puts down Harry Brook. It just reminded me, I've been thinking the last little while that because Carey's keeping has been so good this series, there was a stage when he first came to the Australian side where he put down a stack of catches where it was catches that were in between himself and first slip. So he wasn't taking them on the inside hip. It wasn't diving across first slip. It was like this length and this line in, for Dave Warner at first slip on Dave Warner's sort of left knee. And he kept dropping catches like that. And I haven't seen him put one down for a long time in that arc. And then he sort of goes for that catch where he ends up going for it with one hand, and his right hand is not fully extended. It's almost like tucked in. It's a bent right arm, and he obviously should have gone with it with two hands. But I noticed in the build up to that catch, the ball was swinging behind the stumps way more than what I'd seen our Australian bowlers have do it for the entire series so far. And I wonder if that had like distracted his footwork somewhat. I'm not giving excuses. I'm just trying to think of reasons why he's regressed into dropping that catch that we saw him drop many times in the start of his Test career for Australia. I'm not sure, but it was a really poor drop. I mean, in terms of like leveling up for the series, obviously Bairstow drops one off Warner down the leg side of Stuart Broad, I think it was. So it's another drop for Johnny, albeit a tough chance, but. It was a really disappointing drop in a moment where Australia just had the momentum, and who knows what would have happened if he took that catch. But you just feel like 283 from there was a long, long way away had England been 80 for 4 or something like that, with Stokes coming in next with a seaming ball. Anyway, to that end, Starc finishes with a 4 for, another amazing contribution from him. He gets Stokes with an absolute fucking seed. And he picks up the key wicket of Harry Brook later in the innings as well. So it's just he's just so he's just so underrated all the time, Starc. But fuck, his contributions, you can't really challenge them. So do you want to challenge them?
Not really, mate. He's taken 4 for, and
okay,
but he's out now. He's taken 4 for. He is easy to write off, Starc, because I can't think of a bowler who can have such swings between their first, second, and third spells. You can watch a first spell of Starc and go, "Fuck me, he's not on today," and then he'll come back and he'll take 3 or 4 with an older ball, going through the middle, going through the tail, and he did that today. I mean, I think sort of implying that England got away and then could have been 4 for spit early, and I suppose that's right. But they were also 3 for 180 and all out 280. So once Moeen's Mark Coyne went, he smacked a few, and then but it really precipitated them falling apart. So it's 3 for 180, all out 280. Australia's bowling well. Floodlights are on. It's overcast. It's mayhem. It's tired minds. I think it's a pretty good day. I think it's a pretty good day for Australia, and it's a day. We'll get there, but it's a day where it's like, ooh, we're 1 for 60. Could we have a good day of batting in the Ashes series on an oval day 2 pitch, possibly day 3? Could we? I'm yelling because I don't think so.
I'm scared because, Pezza, you would know I would run over a child to win this series 3-1. I would run over a baby on the street for 3-1. That's how much I want it. I could think of many other ways not involving infant side, but no, not for me. That's the thing. That first thing I'd think of what I would bargain for 3-1.
What do you do if you really want something? If I really want something done, I'd run over a toddler and kill them.
Fucking hell.
Awesome. Oh, well, let's put you in a straitjacket.
And I'm scared because Australia's basically one good batting innings away from winning the Ashes. But it won't happen because it won't happen because it won't happen. But to that end, Pez, I want to talk about Harry Brook, who was just absolutely fucking swinging all over the shop. I'm actually now just reminded that Harry Brook bowled about the 16th or 17th over of these Ashes at Edgbaston, where he's bowling for the wrong foot. But since then, he's done other things. At the back end, just before lunch, the back end of the first session, fuck me, he was smoking him. Like both sides of the wicket. He picked up Mitchell Marsh off a length ball, smoked him for 6 on the offside. He backed away and slapped STARC through a point. He drove Hazelwood or Cummins down the ground. He hooked Cummins for 6. And I was like, fucking hell, man. It's just such high quality batting. And it's like, when you like go batting through the gears, when you've gone from like 0 to 5th gear, it seems to be nothing in between. And it's like, it didn't even seem like that high risk, even though the ball was seaming, but it didn't look high risk because he was middling everything. Fucking unbelievable high school batting, and high school batting. Fucking hell, man. I mean, he really did deserve 100. I mean, no one deserves anything in cricket. We've established that over the course of the past week. But fuck, that was good. I mean, it really was good.
Oh, I mean, I disagree on the deserving front. The series deserves a 2-2 scoreline. That's what it deserves.
Right. Okay.
With 80% of it played.
Yep.
Harry Brook mooses them. That's the only word I can think of. He fucking fucking mooses it. Like he smashes everybody. This kid is in a hurry. The statistics he's amassing already are eye-watering. Whether it's joining the top 20 six hitters in English cricket, in England cricket history, in his 12th game, or like just the sheer number of runs at the average that he's at, the fact that he just dislodged Bairstow, who'd had hitherto one of the greatest English batting seasons ever, back down to 7. The guy is a massive talent, and it's amazing that he just bashes everything all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I think he goes a bit hard early, and if Kerry takes catch, I mean, you know, we've skipped over Warner's drop catch. That drop catch somehow irritated me more than meager returns with the bat. But anyway, yeah, I don't. I mean, I suppose the aggressive nature of Brooks's batting style might, if he maintains that, these might just be early Arctic Monkeys albums, and he does sound like Alex Turner. I think is a Sheffield lad or something. I could be way off there. But like,
he's Yorkshire.
Okay, yeah, and like the aggressive nature of it means maybe he won't go daddy as often as other, you know, guys who've made sort of 8,000 plus runs. Though that might change as he goes on. But I'm looking at a guy, particularly if they just continue ordering in flat, fast wickets, who's gonna just looks like he's gonna make heaps of runs against heaps of teams. He just looks really good. So some of his shots are amazing. So, yeah, it was another good innings. Bad luck, all out 280, but yeah.
To that end, I want to talk about the third thing, which is a good little start. Good little start for Australia. They finished 1 for 62. Is that right? 62 for 1, something like that.
61.
Right. Okay. So they are 222 runs behind then. England on the first innings after the end of the day's play. Khawaja pretty stable. Marnus coming in looked again pretty steady so far. Warner looked good until he didn't. Wokes nicked him off. But great news, Pezza, in that Stuart Broad cannot get the wickets, cannot get the record for the most times dismissed of a single batter. That's not how you say the stat. I can't talk. It's 4 a.m. So now the most he can get him out is only 18 times in his career, which really just speaks to the longevity. Because I think I think Anderson's got Warner out like 11 or 12 times as well. So it just speaks to like it's like at the club. It's like in the club. In the clubhouse, you see like guys who scored 5,000 runs for the club. And I was like, oh, a great lineage of players. Nah, they just play for 15, 16, 17 years. Sort of chipped away 200, 300 runs a season. But they paid their fees most of the years, and they got the record. But anyway, Stuart Broad can now not get the record. The record's still held by McGrath against Atherton, and so that means that Australia will win the Ashes forever.
Yeah, that's right. Like, yeah,
I'm a virgin.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm 38 years old. Someone says to me, oh, gee, Broady really had Warner's number. But, you know, you're at a barbecue with someone who's like barely follows cricket, and they're trying their best to engage you in something that they know is your hobby because you're such a narrow person. You've got nothing else to talk about. And they go,
you're the cricket guy.
And they go, yeah, Broad got that David Warner out a fair few times, didn't he? Like, well, not as much as McGrath got Atherton out, actually. You know, yeah. So we're really, really happy with that. That's fantastic. Yeah, it's I mean,
the run chase.
For me, it's David Warner's got one more innings to get himself to that Sydney Test if he wants, and I don't even think the Australian public are particularly invested in whether he gets to go out at Sydney or not. Some will be. You know, I'd like to see it, but he's got to earn it. You know, he's got to make some runs for his country. It's another helpful partnership, which is good. And it's not 2019 for him anymore, so that's fine. He can play, but he's been nicked off for unders return for a world class bat, and hopefully he can get something done in the second innings. From my perspective.
I agree with you, mate. It's a really funny one with Warner, and get this, you are going to be absolutely pissing yourself because it is a really funny one. That a guy who opened the batting for Australia for more than a decade and has got 25 Test hundreds. The idea that like people be flocking to the SCG for his final game, I can't see it, which is a real sadness. But in lots of respects, that's the bed that one has made for oneself. But I mean, that's the benchmark in Australian cricket. Like, Michael Clarke had the same thing. One of the all-time great players this country's ever produced in the sport, the national sport, and it's like, bloke though. And it's like it's brutal. But anyway,
it is brutal. That just goes back to the Cummins thing as well. Like just the amount of people out for Cummins. It's like, mate, it's 2-1 going into the Oval. What are you talking about? What's happening? Like that's just we're nasty in this country about that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're right. You're right about Warner as well. Like we go the other way to England. I think there's something in that, and I don't think that we've turned that pebble over that much. We've been a lot of people in Australia have been like crow's feeding the amount of denial England is in around their performances. Them saying how good it is, how morally good it is. It's 2-1. In that Ponting style. We don't look at our own tendency to go the other way when our team is actually doing okay, but it's never good enough. What's the lie that's it? Like within that, we actually think we're way better than we are as well, but we just process it a different way. Cummins, shit captain, Warner, not gonna enjoy his farewell. Anyone who does badly, I'm not sure about it. Not good enough. Yeah. It's just it's an ugly side of our nature.
#AskTGC. Dave wrote that on Twitter. And he said, if England are ahead in the final test and rain causes another draw, will that be the greatest Ashes series victory of all time? Ooh, see now you get in the realm of fantasy there, Dave, about what you really want. Like, what kind of meltdown could we see if that was the case? I mean, it probably won't be the case now. Though, Australia could be all out for 180 tomorrow morning. England get a lead of 600, and then the rain comes, and then on day 6 of this Test match, it's a beautiful sunny day. But Ashes in the old hip pocket there with the WTC. The boys on the way home. Absolute ticker tape parade.
Yeah.
It's coming to footy final season, so I don't really see that happening. But, yeah.
I don't know about you. I haven't been hearing as many comparisons with the 2005 series once that low pressure trough came across Wigan that you spoke about on the Today Show. A low pressure trough came across Wigan, and all of a sudden, 2005 is out the window. It's not for me. If a similar kind of trough curtails England's chances of winning, so they're 1 wicket to get or something, and Australia's absolutely in the shit, and we go home with the Ashes 2-1. To me, that's better than 05. To me, but I just haven't heard as much conversation about it. What did I think? Gideon Haigh described those who celebrated the draw as like dim triumphalists or something like that, And I'm like, mate, call me king of the dim triumphalists then, Gideon. It was fucking great.
Call me king of the dim sims.
The series doesn't deserve it. It doesn't deserve it, the series.
I would trade in the period of 1999 to 2007 where Australia didn't lose a World Cup game. I would trade it all in for 2-1 and rain. I'd trade it all in.
Yeah, that's very dim. And series doesn't deserve it. Okay.
Well, let's find out what the series does deserve tomorrow morning, Australia time. We'll find out more about what's happening in the game because more things will have happened, and we'll get a bigger picture of what's happened in the day's play.
We can judge everybody,
and also
judge everybody negatively if they don't manage to do the good thing, and speculate as to whether their career should continue.
That's interesting as well. Okay,
internet.
We'll stick around for that, and just keep hitting refresh here until we upload a new thing. See you later.